Graduates, big up your nice, clean selves. I see you all. Big up on yourself, big up on yourself. How is everybody doing on this Sunday evening? I hope you're all well. Yeah, man. Just all come together for a little Sunday chit chat. Just for a little Sunday chit chat. Let me heal up everybody who's in the class. I have a few things I want to get off my chest tonight. Big up yourself, Karen Thomas. I see you, Arlene. Good evening, Gloria Douglas. Good evening, girl. So nice. Marencha, big up yourself. Let me pin your message. Sanika, what's up? What's up? Karen, you're right on the front seat. I like that. Gloria Douglas, big up yourself. Norma, what's up, Marencha? What's up, my sis? I see a nice, clean Sunday dinner door. Everything looking nice. Yes, I'll be supposed to well happy. Stacy McDonough, big up yourself. Flavia Vassal, good night. Good night. Yes, indeed. Thumbs up the like button, as Karen said. Yes, man, class, no good again. You don't know. Linda G, big up yourself. Yvonne, big up yourself. Social Spectator, what's up? What's up? Yeah, man. Mercy, Father. Pastor. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Somebody tag Pastor Miller there. Good evening, sir. All right, so I hope you see my title. What happens when we sow seeds of discontent? As you know, I've been taking a different approach to my page. And actually I'm quite enjoying how I'm doing it. It has brought me great pleasure to discuss various topics, but occasionally I have to touch base with my grassroots people, my foundation people, and talk about things that I know is of deep interest to them, right? And this is one of those lives. I'm not gonna lock this one. This one is not gonna be locked for members only when I'm finished. That's usually the no frills live. This one will stay open, right? Um, because often when you see me lock the lives, it's because I'm not fueling fire, because I'm not feeding the fodder, because I'm not giving anything to add to the venom of others, because they're so hungry for it out here in these social media streets. It's so sad to observe as once again we see evidence of those who sow seeds of discontent amongst us. Our diaspora may be small, but we are a powerful diaspora. Yes. The Jamaican diaspora in particular has got certain quirks on social media that often not just reveals our positive side, but more than often reveals our negative side. And I often wonder if it is that the only way to exit it is to exit it with bitterness and a feeling of a desire for vengeance. I don't think it's necessary to do so, but often when you see bloggers turn their back on our diaspora, it is done out of bitterness, based on interactions that they've had and the way they've been handled or treated out here in social media. I'm hoping to not be one such blogger, but you never know. All I can say is that I do not see the point of the behaviors of some of us at all. I don't see the point of it. I don't understand why it's necessary to dig up things from the past, because all you're doing is revealing exactly what you're made out of and showcasing the fact that you were busy out here sowing seeds of discontent amongst people who you considered to be a tool of destruction at the time. It's embarrassing. It's almost, I don't know, It turns my stomach, some of the things that I see and observe. And this is why when gums were chewing and teeth were gnashing, I gave them no air. And I still refuse to. Because in order for you to be judged or critiqued, the source has got to be an integrous one for it to matter. Straight up. If you yourself lack integrity, and in essence, you need to rework who you are to renew yourself in the eyes of the public, you are in no position to criticize and judge somebody else, particularly somebody else who doesn't even have your track record out here. That's why it is so laughable. And I'm not going to go back and forth with anybody on what is plain fact, playing out before our eyes. Let me tell you something. You see, when you interfere with people who have got a calling in this life and who focus on that without the mess, who are on a path with righteous intent, then you will see that the person that you interfere with, who is on that path with righteous intent, does not need to fight back. Don't need to say a word. Because you see, when you don't say a word and you allow God and the energies that be to work, everything reveals itself. Yeah. One of the things I've learned on social media is that it is so unnecessary sometimes for us to clap back. Sometimes. Of course, there are times when you have to defend yourself. But I have learned that it is very important to know who I'm proving myself to. I don't need to prove myself to everybody out here. And it is for that reason that I am not going to harshly judge the pastor. Yes. Because exactly what the pastor is being judged for is exactly what I went through and still go through amongst some of you. When somebody comes with a difference, or somebody comes with a unique perspective, or somebody comes from a different background, or somebody comes with a different status in life to what is the norm in these social media streets, there is always suspicion and doubt attached. Always. Now, I reflected on these things and said to myself, why is it that people at first, when I first came on the scene, it was all about Lupa HTK, how she spoke, how she thinks she educated more than anybody else. And I never once through my education in your face. I speak how I speak. I communicate how I communicate. And that's never going to change. But it was always used as a pawn against me. And the reason why, and I thought about it, and I tried to do it objectively, is that historically, people of such backgrounds have always exploited and capitalized on the poorer, the less educated, the more unfortunate, the vulnerable. And because in history, this is what has always proven to be true, of course, I was going to get a similar line of backlash. When going out of my way to prove that I was not that. I was in your corner. I am for, social justice like everybody else, blah, blah, blah. What happened? No, sir. HTK run up in a people, call people name, and at that time the offense start. But my intention was never negative, but I saw it go. And then I learned the lesson and say, you know something? Pull back. Because really and truly, my knowledge is not necessarily for those who do not seek it. Nor is my wisdom necessarily for those who have no thirst for it. So therefore, where it is not required, do not inject yourself. In other words, don't be enough. Keep your king quiet and stick to your graduates them. And that is what I've been doing. I think that I would really like to see a change in social media, but it's not my job to make it happen. No. My only job is to be a change within my own space. Because you see, when I observe some of the things that are being thrown out here, and I see some of the things that were said and the venom with which it was said, it makes me realize that there are people amongst us that are fighting greater demons that it's not my job to repair. So when they deliberately target me even when me not see them, live for my name even when me not answer, just know that they are fighting their own demons. That has nothing to do with me. I said to myself, the once upon a time HTK would have come out and go on with herself, Yes, man. I would have come out. I would have put some word together. I would have thrown some stone. And my lives would be ricocheting across the internet like a rubber bullet in a room. Yeah. And then I said, what benefit is that? Now, you know what I find funny? How the things that I was accused of, what was it now? She's greedy. She look money. And I'm looking at these people and thinking, you've got absolutely no idea about me, about my financial standing, anything. And I said to myself, look at me, oh, when me come live, me never stay long. Not at all. When I do my t-shirt business and my merch, it's only seasonal, literally when I have half-term holidays, because during term time, I'm busy, right? It's not 365 days of the year. And it's so funny how people watch everything you do when you're not desperate to do it. I have never come out here and balled out for cash app. No offense to those who do, but I have never done it. I've never come out here and balled out for people for pretty up my screen. Never, ever, ever. But you see, when you sow seeds of discontent without a due cause other than your own gut feeling, which could very well be wrong, just as it has been wrong about one of the greatest people that we have here in social media, it will come back and bite you. It will come back and bite you. And I don't need to do a single thing or respond in any way I just have to keep on being myself. No matter what any of those people have to say, I carry on being myself because I don't need to prove myself to any of those people. When they take my life and they swear they can twist it for their agenda, and they twist it and twist it to try to make it fit, and like a square peg in a round hole, eventually they have to drop it because it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit at all. All it does is point out how these people will go as far as they can to try to tear down one person. Yeah. I said to myself, okay, why you not come out and deep up under that one here? And I said, to what end? Who are they? Them not important, yo. And if I do that, I'm signifying the insignificant to me. I'm not saying they're insignificant human beings to whoever they are with or whoever they're amongst, but to me, they are insignificant. Why should I come out here and name up myself and pick apart and analyze and respond to? No. That's going to qualify something that is unqualifiable, or I should say disqualified. And that's what they want. Sowing seeds of discontent is one of the biggest diseases we have out here in these social media streets. People, we have to realize that all of us at some point has sown a seed of discontent. I am not excluding myself. No. I am saying, however, that there is a difference when you sow a seed of discontent on the basis of no evidence, as opposed to sowing a seed of discontent on the basis of a whim, a gut feeling that's baseless. When you do that, you are building enmity and strife unnecessarily. Now, say, for example, you know say somebody are wicked. And you know that they are doing evil things. And you have hardcore evidence that they are. And you decide to make your audience aware of it. That's very different. It's very, very different. Because you can say, look on X, Y, Z. This is why I say what I say. But to come out here and try to tarnish a person's name purely on what you think and what you feel might go so, and you've got no evidence of that, that is exactly what the lady went through and still goes through from 5 years back till now. So when it is observed that you are doing said thing to somebody else, all you do is remind of the kind of mess that was endured in the past and is still being endured to an extent. Very foolish move. Very, very foolish move. And now to save face, what are they doing? Digging up the past, the remnants of the past. Talking about what happened a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Who cares? Nobody cares. It is so trivial and so irrelevant and so immature to even imagine that something like that will have an impact. And I don't even know why it's being responded to because, hello, none of that is new. Nor does it change the price of rice in China. Now, I am not going to defend anyone out here. I'm only looking at it as though I was looking at an average case study. I'm not even calling anybody name. Because I've been too disrespected by some of you out here unnecessarily. But I'm going to say this. If a person has made a decision to move on from something, why is it that we feel that we ought to beat them into submission on the basis of the fact that we think they should not move on from that? It is not a person's place to tell somebody who they should or should not forgive. Let me tell you this. The only way forgiveness can stay is if behaviors that change are permanent. And remember, permanent change of behavior to one does not necessarily encapsulate the rest. And I'm certain that this is what even they said themselves. So why is it that people feel that they need to dictate how relationships are managed? And then when they can't, they develop a conspiracy theory around it and try to build a supernatural argument to feed their venom yet again. The cabrata kipikin kwa. Graduates them know what me at about. You understand? So anyway, Pastor Miller came out and he did do another live. I listened to the live, Pastor Miller. I've been listening, you know. Yes, I have. I have been listening more and more. Yes. And you know that I'm the doubtful Thomas, right? But I've been listening. I like the live that you did where you were talking about those oils that you should be taking and stuff. The lion's mane, I've ordered it on Amazon. Yes, I'll be trying that. Anything that brings clarity and focus, I love it, especially if it's natural. But yes, I listened to your live. And I appreciate that you understood where I was coming from, because this is one of the reasons why a lot of these people out here are not going to like me, because I do speak truth. And I don't necessarily do it in a way that they would want me to do it. In other words, you know, I don't come out here, I don't dip up underneath people when I disagree with them. I try to handle things respectfully. And where I have flawed in the past, I try to repair it. Okay? Now, I have a question, and it really is a genuine question. Why is it that whenever people of God have got a prophecy, it is important or significant for that person of God to declare it publicly and not directly to the person? I'd just like to know, in terms of the Christian aesthetic behind that. Why is it that if there is a prophecy and the prophecy is for one particular person, it is important for that prophecy for that one person to be broadcasted in a public way? Now, I reflected on that because I was like, well, why does it, if it's just for this person, why does everyone else need to hear it? If God has sent you a message specifically for the lady, why does it have to be then brought onto a public platform and told to a whole bunch of random people Well, it's not random because it's your followers and stuff and your subscribers or whatever, but you know, people that it's not related to. Why does that need to take place? And doesn't it have other effects? Bear with me. So, for example, in the prophecy that you gave this morning, you spoke openly about Tammy. Tammy, you're not allowing me to focus, you know. Stop. Tammy said there was you like that's not our boss. So bad side. Anyway, right? So when you came out and you spoke openly about, you know, the great things, and they all sound phenomenal and fantastic, the wonderful and great things that you predict will exist in this lady's life, right? You predicted amazing things, wonderful achievements, growth beyond expectations and measure. And it all sounded absolutely wonderful. I mean, those of us who are 100% in her corner, supporting her, bigging her up, all of that, would love to see all of this brought to fruition. However, what does it do when these things are said? What does it do to those who, as we know, eat, sleep, and drink the lady's name for negativity when they hear all of this prophecy about what is to come, not what has already taken place, in terms of how they will react to that? I'll tell you what it does. What it does is it makes them agitated. It causes them to up the ante. It increases the critical eye. It causes envy to grow, because you don't know, said the envy already did it. It causes it to grow. It brings curses upon faith. And now that doesn't mean the curses can never be effective, especially if it's ordained by God. But it does increase the warfare spiritually and possibly physically. Right? Okay. You also spoke about the fact that there are people who are seeking to sabotage. I'm not going to say sabotage what, because I'm not too keen on that prophecy. But when you say things like that, what does that then do? Even when it may not have necessarily been an idea to do so, it can plant a seed of discord where people may deliberately act to do so. You heard? Okay. Now I'm just talking about the mindset of the people that we are used to dealing with out here every day. And I know you've been observing and watching and, you know, participating in some way, but I don't know if you really understand how deep this goes. I don't know if you really understand how deep it goes. So I am trying to break it down to you. Wouldn't it have been far better? As you said, you have got an heir. And maybe because you do know that the lady doesn't take kindly to prophecies like, you know, people saying that they have prophecy, she always take it with a grain of salt, if not a ton of salt. But you have got an ear where you could pass a message. I think that the publicity around this prophecy can bring a very multi-layered effect. And while I know you really want to lift and elevate this lady and encourage this lady to keep on that path, saying those other things, once again, controversial. Because you're a controversial pastor, you know. Just like I'm a controversial blogger, you are a controversial pastor. You are. They can cause a certain tension to rise. You hear me, I say? I only question because I want to know what is the purpose of bringing this publicly on your platform to everyone else and not finding a way to directly get in touch or to pass this message on via your contacts on the ground. I know you say you don't speak to her on the phone, but you can pass the message on, right? This kind of attention has too many ways that it can go, right? When focused on her. That is all I am saying. Remember, I did a whole series and my focus was on Jody and Bonnix. And out of the 4 episodes, I literally mentioned the lady's name once for less than a minute. And that made all of them jump up and down like a bunch of idiots. Yes? Now, we all know that her name is weighted. It is. It's very, very weighted. Why? Because she is one of the mega influencers in our diaspora. So it's a weighted name. And you just have to put that name in your caption and the crowds come running. Yes, because them all want to hear what you have to say. So when you caption it, your sermon or whatever you're about to say, and you put her name in it, you know you will get the crowd. You know you will get the views. You know that people are going to turn up. So when this happens, and there are those thinking, well, why is this message for us? Why not directly do something about it? Why put it here? Why in this way? Of course, doubtful Thomases are going to be questioning, is this for attention or is this just a good message? Being tactful about how a message is delivered is so important. There are times when, because I'm being too tactful, people say, oh, she a hypocrite, she a double-edged sword, and whatever. And it's because I don't want to go in too hard. And then no, when I show them that I can go in too hard, everybody get offended and run up and down like headless chicken. You understand? And then I say, well, you see, now you know why I was being tactful, because if I decide to just be direct on an I can't handle it. But I think in this case, the tact could have been, how about, these wonderful things are going to happen to you for you. There are some things that spiritually you will have to fight, but out of it, you will become successful. I think oversharing and speaking specifically to the fact that there will be sabotage, this, that, whatever, is exactly the kind of negativity that will counteract your wonderful intentions. And that's just me being honest. Other than that, I really enjoyed the message. I liked hearing about the fact that you gave away your 2 cars. Sounds amazing. Because one of the questions I asked in my last live was, is your congregation as affluent as you are? Yes? So it's nice to know that the spirit of charity is strong within you, and I am taking your word at face value. I have not seen evidence. I have not seen proof. I have not heard somebody jump up in the comments and say, thank you, Pastor, for the care, or anything like that. I'm going on your word. And hopeful that your word is bond. Okay, Karen. So somebody has commented here. Them not start blog yet, them a line up pen, paper, the whole works. A certain blogger will cuss every bad word but ever come out of Jamaica. Who is a certain blogger? I never know. I don't even business. Anything her real pastor prophesy, he doesn't come and tell it to the world. He speaks to her in person. This is exactly what I was thinking. This will only increase the hate, yes. But she knows about her prosperity. She spoke about her dream, picking ripe mangoes. These people obviously struggling to survive without the name. Definitely right there, HTK, because some people would say he never prophesied that over her life. Okay, so Hortense, that is another point. Because that's why I asked the genuine question, because let's take the content of his prophecy aside. I'm genuinely asking, and I mean genuinely, I'm asking a question attached to the philosophy of Christianity, because he's not the only person of God that has done this. Why is it that whenever there's a prophecy, it has to be declared publicly? We've heard this before. And if we go back into biblical days, there were prophets who used to walk the streets and prophesy aloud. Yes. This and this is gonna happen, that's gonna happen, this and that's gonna happen, and they shout it out and shout it out aloud. Now, I'm wondering if spiritually there is a very good reason why some prophets do this. Is it about proving the might of God so that when those words come out and it happens and it comes to pass, then people will know that God are God? Or is it about self-inflation? Because it's two ways to it. Is it about saying, look, I told you so. See, I am in fact a real prophet because I said it was going to happen and it happened. So I don't really understand what the purpose of it is, because to me, if a prophet has something that's a direct message just for me, I would want it to come directly to me. But we know that it has been the case where prophets have come to the lady and them come because them a look clout, or them come and them get turned back, and so on and so forth, right? So maybe pastor doesn't know if he's going to get rejected that way. I don't know. But given how much he has invested in his faith and his works into the lady's success, I don't know why it would be the case of being shunned. Do you understand? So it could be, okay, I'm not sure if she'll listen to me, but you have got the ear of her second or one of her seconds in command. So pass the message on. You understand? Because it's specific to that one person. So that's where I'm coming from. You understand? And it's not to knock him. Like I said, I'm not knocking him. I'm not saying that he isn't a good person. I'm not saying that, because I enjoyed some of his things that I've been listening to, his sermons I've been listening to, you know. And I just believe that he's human like everybody else, right? But I just genuinely want to know, why did it have to be done that way? Because there were other, you went into such detail, Pastor, about not just the positive, but also the negative. It was a little bit, oh my gosh, now they've got something else. You know what I'm saying? That they're going to definitely use. Or, it also builds her own tension around the event itself. You understand? Around the event itself. Now, what I did find laughable as well is the fact that these people, because they're so busy trying to build agendas, they were like, oh, you were the one who was going on about the Bonix case, and that had a negative effect. And I'm just like, you people are clearly not aware of what's going on social media, and the fact that they've been calling this lady's name with this person long before I came out and did my lives. And I'm just like, oh, I never started that. Yes, that was already there. That seed of discontent, they've been growing for time. I did not grow any seed of discontent. I brought you facts. Yes, facts that had nothing to do with the lady. Nothing at all. But because you were already on your agenda, you were looking for somebody else whose words you could draw from within her camp. And it never worked. because anybody with sense and logic could see it's got nothing to do with the lady. And this is how they twist things. So they will take this prophecy, they will twist it. Just watch and see, because they've already started. They'll twist it to suit their agenda. But awareness is all, people. Graduates, awareness is all. Awareness is all. And once you're aware of it, then you become more aware with how to word things. You become more aware of how to discuss things as you go along, because it doesn't just come overnight. You understand? And listening to the perspectives of others of value will also help you to refine delivery. The Lord used it in all different ways. Yes, maybe that's how God wants him to do it. Yes, maybe it is. Maybe it is. Well, I've never passed a message to Paula. That's what I was saying, Kerry. That's exactly what I was saying. The Bible says one has to try the Spirit. If it's spoken and not come to pass, then we have to consider if he was truly sent. Yes, that's true, Hortense. Yeah, what if it doesn't happen? Then it will bring even more doubts around, around him as an integrous man of God, a prophet, all of that. It will question, it will bring his character into question, But I suppose his faith is so strong that he doesn't feel bothered about his character being questioned, because he genuinely believes that his prophecy will come to pass, right? We can't say he should give the message to Paula. If God really gave a message, it will come to pass. Hortense, that's true as well, right? That's true as well. As I said, I am not, that I am not a church person. I am not big in, Christian faith and all of that. I did grow up as a Christian, but, I have never been a strict follower of the Christian ways. That's why I asked the question, because I genuinely would like to understand. And I think it's good to understand for those of us who are not in the faith and still have an open mind towards the possibility. I don't have a problem with none of these prophets coming out loud. My problem is why only certain people them load up. Cousin say right now, me want one of them come prophecy. And we did speak about that in the last live as well, right? We did speak about that in the last live as well. How a lot of these prophets that are on social media only seem to have prophecies about famous people and people who are well known to the public. Um, you know, it's interesting because yes, they do tend to just notice these people in positions of power and influence. And maybe it's about the fact that they have got power and influence and have got the capability of winning souls en masse. I don't know. Maybe that's an argument. I don't know. But it is particularly interesting that it's just these people whose names tend to come up. It's like if you're not a politician, if you're not a mega influencer, if you're not a millionaire, if you're not highly visible in the public eye, there's no prophecy for you, my darling. There's no prophecy for you, my love. God's word is true. Even if they malign the message, God will truly bring it to pass. Well, let us see. I don't think Auntie going to listen. Oh my God, she doesn't like those stuff. Only one person she listens to. Yes, indeed. You know, but they will do these things and they will question and they will twist and they will do what the internet will do what the internet will do. But if the faith is real and the belief is real and all of that, then no matter what they try to twist, just as Hortense say, it will still come to pass as God wants it to come to pass. And I do believe that could definitely be so. But at the end of the day, though, I still question why does it have to be done in that public space in that way, via a platform and not directly to the person. It's just a question that I'm interested in hearing why prophecies somehow always end up like that, particularly when they're for people who are well known. You understand? So yes, as I said, once again, nobody has to prove anything. Pastor doesn't have to prove anything to me. Who am I? Pastor doesn't need to answer. Um, but it's still a curiosity of mine. Um, and I will seek an answer elsewhere, even if he doesn't. But at the end of the day, we have to make a decision about who it is that we're trying to prove things to out here, and why do we need to prove anything to certain people. Um, is it that we're proving things for the purpose of saying to people that, look, I'm not lying, see, I've got proof, I've got evidence? Or is it that we're proving things to people to say, don't believe what's being said, you can trust me? Is it that we're proving things to say, um, I am great at whatever I'm doing, and therefore I cannot be questioned? There's different ways that you can go about it. You understand? Like I said, when things were being said about who I am, my character, my intentions, my whatever, why I did what I did, I laughed at it. Because to them, I don't need to prove a thing. Nothing at all. Laughed at it because that was ridiculous. You understand? The only thing that got exasperating was constantly seeing my name on headlines on a page that I don't visit. You know, at least I should add and be honest, don't visit anymore since I turned my page over, right? Um, but other than that, why should I prove myself? Why should the lady prove herself? Why should anybody prove themselves? Why should the man over there so prove himself to people who are telling lies on him? Yo, by the way, no, sir. One thing to add. One thing to add. Man in the dark, you're nice, you know. Man in the dark. Me the business, whatever put out for you. You're a really good looking fella. And that's a fact. I just had to throw that in there. Well, if in prophecy come true, I can give one of the white millionaires my number. This a person, a pastor trying to get a seat in a planker shop. I think planker shop is an open space where anybody can get a seat. And this is another thing as well. We create this impression of exclusivity because when we do that, we're actually alienating new people. We are, in a way, putting up suspicion against people rather than being welcoming. We can welcome people into Planker Shop, but we can also use discernment at the end of the day. And remember, the lady herself said that Planker Shop is not, she never kept it to herself. She shared her success and she shared it with everyone. And that is true. Her naming out different pages and saying go and support this person, follow that person, listen to that person, all of that. Bigging up people's businesses, sharing people's pages out and stuff like that is about her being open and welcoming to different people, right? But using discernment does not mean that we have to say that somebody's trying to get a seat, because I'm only wary of that, because of that them say about me too. And despite the fact that I was a planker from day one, you understand? How can me be in the shop and I know when me turn blogger me I try get seat? Make it make sense. It doesn't. It doesn't make any sense. Right? Does not make any sense at all. You understand? So when you really think about it, he probably didn't even have to do all of that in order to be welcomed into the shop, because there are people whose very names as they pop up on lives that we recognize, that we have seen from day one, that constantly comes back, have got a righteous place in Planker Shop because of dedication, support, years of commitment to the platform, to the views, to supporting the lady. You understand? People who we recognize by name, just by their being there all the time. So at the end of the day, you don't have to come with money. And this is what I don't like about how they try to paint planker shop, that a money talk. If you not have no money, you can't get no wear in a planker shop. And that's not true at all. It's a space where ordinary people are empowered. Ordinary people are empowered. Yes, Hortense, he is. He's very handsome. Um, yes, exactly, Joan. Oh, thank you, Mary. Thank you. You know, but I just wanted to share that perspective with you, my graduates. And really and truly, it's about, let us reflect. Reflection is so important, and I don't know if it's because I'm an educator that reflection comes naturally. That every time I do something, I reflect. Every time I talk something, I go back and I think about it. I say, should I have said it this way? And every time I do that, when I come back, I present better. I say things better because I'm always reflecting. And sometimes instead of fighting and clapping back and building up a case of vengeance, reflect now, looking at yourself now, and see how it is that why it is that people will say you have in fact not changed. Are you still doing things that are reminiscent of what you did before? Even if you have changed target, does it make it any less wrong? And this is not to say that you have to change it, but being aware of it will make you know why people will say a leopard never changes its spots. Anyway, graduates, like up the live. You know, so I'm gonna come for stay for a long time, right? So like up the live on your way out. I hope you have found this little Sunday chit chat informative. It's helped you to become more reflective as my graduates, and that you've taken something away that you can use as a food for thought. Big up on a nice clean self. This is your girl, Head Teacher K, and I'm out.